the things we're talking about in traffic is the Keating Cross Road flyover over the Pat Bay Highway, just kind of at the end of it, as you, not at the beginning of the flyover, but as you get to the end of the flyover, there have been overnight closures this week for continued work on that project. Here to talk more about where things are at and what's the state of things right now, my guest is Janelle Staite, Deputy Director of the South Coast Region for the Ministry of Transportation and Transit. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Always nice to chat.
So to start with, what's the status right now? Is it open? Is it closed? What's happening on the flyover?
It is open again. So the intersection of Keating Cross Road and Central Saanich Road is open. The intersection actually reopened at 4 a.m. about an hour before when it was intended to reopen.
Okay, so fully flowing now, but there's more overnight closures coming this week, right? Or is that over now?
No, we have another overnight closure this week, again tonight. So last night what they did is they basically milled out some of the existing pavement in the intersection, did some basically patchwork to make sure it was smooth, and then got some temporary lines before they reopened it this morning. And then tonight they're going to go back in there, and actually that's when they're going to repave the intersection.
So the actual paving work is tonight?
It is tonight, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then one more night after that if needed?
One more night if needed, and in that case, it would be single-lane alternating traffic, so certainly much less disruptive for folks because we would be able to get some traffic through.
All right, so that's the big thing this week, and just watch out for those delays and full closures as the week goes on. But let's put this into perspective. So this Keating flyover from the Pat Bay Highway turning onto Keating Cross Road, the flyover itself has been done for a little while. It's working, it's operational, but it's still a construction zone. You certainly know that as you go by. You still see the cones, you still see the signs stating slow down. It's a construction speed zone. Where are we at, and how does this fit into the overall completion of the project?
Yeah, so this really is the home stretch here. We expect that we should have all work wrapped up by the end of this month. So the closures that you're seeing last night and tonight are helping us get there. We do have some final paving on the on-ramp that needs to get done. We have some line painting, and there's just some kind of, I'll say, minor touch-up work that we have in all of our construction projects as we get to the home stretch here. So we're very much there, but as you said, it still is a construction speed zone throughout because the contractor is in and out as they try to get everything buttoned up and get out of there and have this project complete. So,
but does that mean when this paving work at the end of the flyover, at the Central Saanich Road at the end of it, once this road work is complete, this paving, does that mean it's done?
That means that particular intersection is done, but there is still some more work in the overall project, in the larger area of the project. So whether it's some minor work on the girder where the actual flyover is, some minor landscaping work and some minor line painting, but not going to see any sort of significant impacts moving forward. And as I say, by the end of July, everything should be buttoned up and we should have it returning to pre-construction speed limits back to 80.
Okay, so end of this month is the timeline for it to be completely cleared. I think some folks are, just interested in why it takes so long, because this is, just been a very long period of time where this has been a construction zone, and sometimes you get to that point where it looks like a thing is done, but it's really not, and it's still going. So talk about that and how these things go and why these things sort of stay active construction zones for longer than you might think.
Yeah, I think part of it is when we're working in Victoria or other large centers like Metro Vancouver, we're trying to balance keeping traffic moving at the same time that we're building a project. So that certainly slows things down as compared to greenfield construction where you can just start building with not having to worry about how to keep traffic moving. So that's a big piece of it. Our big push at the start of this project was really to get that flyover open because that's when folks were able to eliminate that left turn that was unsignalized and really enable them to smoothly fly over any conflict of traffic. That was open last summer, and really between last summer and this summer, it's really been focused on the on-ramp, the intersection of Keating and Central Saanich, the landscaping, and with any project, just cleaning up any sort of deficiencies or pieces that the contractor needs to tidy up before they head out of the site.
And now that it's almost over, the Keating flyover, did it kind of work out the way it hoped? Is it kind of fully functioning in the way it was envisioned? What's your review of the finished product?
Yeah, I mean, since the flyover has been open since I think it was last July, it's working well. We're eliminating what we knew was a very challenging left turn, and in some cases had some very negative consequences with those crashes. And by eliminating that with the flyover, we're certainly seeing the benefits we were hoping for. And with the Keating industrial area just continuing to flourish out there, it really enables that industrial traffic to get off the highway and get to where it's headed that much more quickly, which is great from an economic perspective as well.
And is there any other surrounding road that still needs to be reconfigured or worked out? Because I know some other roads got kind of, one got cut off, which used to be kind of one that went on to the Pat Bay Highway, and there's been a few others in the area around there that had to get reworked. Is there anything else that needs to happen kind of off to the sides of this?
No, as you say, we're more on sort of the tidying up stretch. So the closures that we saw at East Saanich Road and Martindale Road, those are sort of permanent closures that were always envisioned as part of this project, and there's other routes for folks to get on. But ultimately, the state that you see it out there is pretty close to what we see in the finished product as we head out at the end of the month here.
Okay, well, that's a great update. Much appreciated. We're talking to Janelle Staite with the Ministry of Transportation, just talking about what they're doing there with these overnight closures at the kind of end of the Keating flyover. They're doing some paving work there. It's getting near the end, though. By the end of the month, this thing might be fully done and no longer a construction zone. But do obey the speed limit for the time being as they continue to work. Janelle, thank you so much. It's always great to talk to you and get these updates on what's happening on the roads in front of us.
Thanks for having me. Always appreciate the connect.